Okay, so for tonight's homework, you're actually going to end up doing all of them, but I really want you to get through 7. Tomorrow in class, you'll be completing the rest, but I'm going to go ahead and do all of it. All right, so your homework tonight is going to be on page 165 and 166. Let's start with the first one. We are using models to represent division or dividing with decimals. So we're going to use each of these models to complete the number sentence. We have 1 and 5/10 divided by 3. So you can see I have the 3 groups, which is my divisor. I'm going to go ahead and switch to a pen, be easier to see. So there's my divisor. Then inside of each group is going to be the quotient. So I'm going to count. I have 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10. So then the answer is going to be 5/10 because 5/10 times 1 group, 2 group, 3 group equals to the 15/10 or 1 and 5/10. Let's look at number 2. They've taken 2 and 48/100 and divided into 4 groups. So this is 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups. That's my divisor. Remember, the divisor is the number of groups in this case. So now I'm going to count to see how many are in each group. That is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62. So the answer is going to be 62 hundredths because I have 6 rods, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6/10 and then 2 hundredths. So the quotient is going to be what's inside. All right, let's go to the next one. I have 2 and 8/10 divided by 4. I have 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups. Remember, that's going to be the dividend. I'm so sorry, the divisor. When I was about to ready to write it, it's like, what? Inside is the quotient. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. So it's going to be, it's kind of hard to read with all those, the way they have their lines. So it's going to be 7/10 because in each group, I was able to take the 28/100 and divide those equal into 7/10. As a matter of fact, that was today's example as well. Let's look at this one. I have 3 and 54/100 divided into 3 groups. So this is 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. And what do I have? I'm going to have 1. I have 1/10 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hundredths. So then the answer is 1 and 18 hundredths. Explain how you can use the whole number expression 248 divided by 4 to check that your answer to exercise 2 is reasonable. All right, we're talking about the ones up here. So I'm going to look at, and this is this one right here, exercise 2, question 2. So 248 divided by 4 equals 62. I'm going to look at the decimal. So the decimal point in the dividend remember that this here is the dividend. This here is the dividend. So the decimal point in the dividend moves 2 places to the left for 2 and 4/10ths, or 2 and 48/100ths. So I moved it 2, 1, 2. If I move the decimal place in the quotient, two places to the left, I get 62/100ths. So I'm going to take my quotient and move that over, and I get 62/100ths. So my answer is reasonable. All right, let's look at number 6. Let's see if I can enlarge that. Yeah, it'll let me enlarge. Good. Okay, there we go. Mrs. Tillman builds furniture. She saws a maple wood that is 4 and 56/100 meters long into 4 equal parts. She saws an oak board that is 3 and 69/100 meters long into 3 equal parts. Which one is longer, a piece of oak or a piece of maple? All right, so now I'm going to get some paper. So now I'm going to have maple wood, or this is going to be the maple board. And I know that she saws a maple board that is, so the maple board is 4 and 56/100 meters long, and she's going to cut that into 4 equal parts. And then I have, so this is what I did here. Now I have the oak. I'll bring the oak down here. Stretch this back out a bit. So there's the oak, and she has a board that's 3 and 69/100, and she's going to divide that into 3 equal parts or equal lengths. So I'm going to go ahead and draw out 4. I'm just going to make a box, just like we did in class. I can do 4 circles, but I'm just going to do this. I have 4 groups. And I'm going to draw out my 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then my hundreds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right now, can I place my hundreds into these? Yeah. So I have 100ths will go here. I'll just put my hundreds here. 2 100ths here, 100ths here, and 100ths here. I have 2 left over, but I can't put those in equally, so I'm going to take 1/10, and I'm going to cash that in for 10/100. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now I have 10, 11, 12. Oh yeah, if there's 12 and I have 4, I know that 3 more are going to go in there. But I'm just going to go ahead and do one at a time in case those are still trying to catch on. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and there's my 12th one. So now I can see that I have a total of 4 hundredths in each group. Now what do I have left? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rods left. So I'm just going to place one rod here, cross that out. One rod here, cross this out. One rod here, cross this out. And one rod here, cross that out. What do I have left? Yeah, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 flats. So I can take one flat, two flats, three flats, and place one flat in each group. So what does this equal to? So I'm going to look at the quotient in here because I had 4 groups and I was able to separate those equally. So this is going to be 1 and it's 1/10, 1, 2, 3, 4 hundredths, 1 and 14 hundredths. So that's what the quotient is. I'm going to do the same thing with the oak, but I have 3, so I'm just going to make 3 circles. 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 flats. I have 6, 3, 4, 5, 6 rods, and I have 9 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now I'm going to share that in here. So I'm going to start with my hundredths. I can do, yeah, you can actually see this, right? It's 1, 2, 3. If you couldn't see that, I can just take one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now I'm going to look at my rods, and I have 6 of them. Well, I can divide those up evenly. So it's going to be one rod, one rod, one rod, and then I can place the next one here. Very good. If you saw that, that's excellent. That 2 rods will go through. Now, how many flats do I have to do anything? No, I can just move those in here. So now each one is worth 1 and 2 rods and 3 hundredths. So it's 1 and 23 hundredths. So then it goes back to my question, which is longer, a piece of oak or a piece of maple? Well, it looks like that the oak is going to be longer than the maple. So the oak is 1 and 23 meters long. The maple is 1 and 14 hundredths meters long for each piece. Therefore, 1 and 23 hundredths is greater than 1 and 14 hundredths. So the oak, I'm going to place this oak and then maple. So oak is longer. Let's look at the number 7. The number 7, that's funny. Drew has a video game with 5 different challenges. He sets the timer to play his game at 10 and 75 hundredths minutes, or 10 and 3/4. So we're looking at 45 minutes. He spends the same amount of time playing each challenge. So how does Drew play the 5th challenge? All right, so let's come over here. I'm going to flip this over. I can say I'm doing it here. This is going to be number 7. So in this one right here, my equation is 10 and 7,500 minutes. I'm going to divide that by 5 games. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have 10 flats. 1, 2, it's a lot of flats, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I have 7 rods, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 5 hundredths. With 5 groups, I know that each unit is going to be in each group. All right. Now, let's see what we have here. So I can actually separate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But look at this. I have 2 of these that are left over. Oops, there we go. I have 2 tenths. So I'm going to have to break that apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So each one's going to come in each group. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now I'm going to look at my holes. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so do you see what I did here? I ended up doing only 1 rod, but I needed to do 2 rods. So on this one, I have to add in another group of 10. Okay, so now I'm going to take out this one. 2, 3, 4, 5. So some of you have already caught that one. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And there we go. So that's 1 rod and 2 rods. And so we took care of that part. So now how many minutes per game? So I have 2 holes, 1 tenth, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hundredths. So it's going to equal to 2 and 15 hundredths minutes. All right, there we go. That's it for tonight, and we'll work on the rest of them tomorrow, but I'm going to go ahead and continue on. But this is what was only obligated for today, and again, the rest will be for tomorrow in class.